Number 1. Each fraction strip is one whole. All the fraction strips are equal in length. Shade one fractional unit in each strip. Then, circle the largest fraction and draw a star to the right of the smallest fraction. Lots of steps here. Let's start with the first step. I can see that they've already told me that each whole is equal in length. I need to shade a fractional unit. They've told me what the fractional units are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces here for 1/4 to be the fractional unit. Shade that in. There are 1, 2, 3 equal pieces here. 1/3 is a fractional unit. 1, 2 equal pieces here. 1/2 is our fractional unit. Now I can go back and reread. It says, then circle the largest fraction and draw a star to the right of the smallest fraction. As I look, it seems pretty obvious to me that 1/2 is our largest fraction. It takes up the most space and is bigger than both 1/3 and 1/4. 1/4 is the smallest fraction, and that is why I draw a star to the right of the smallest fraction. It is the smallest piece compared to 1/3 and 1/2. We can do some more comparing in number 2. Use the greater than, less than, or equal sign to compare. 1/8 compared to 1/10. I'm going to rewrite 1/8 in fraction form and 1/10 because I like to use my denominators to help me compare the fraction. In class, a trick I've shared is the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. This means when the number on the bottom is bigger, like 10, it means there are more pieces. Let's go back up to number 1 to make this statement true. 4 is bigger than 2. 4 in the denominator tells me that there are 4 equal pieces. 2 in the denominator tells me there are 2 equal pieces. The 2 pieces get to take up more space in the same size whole because there are less pieces the whole is split up into. So if I'm comparing 1/8 to 1/10, 10 is the bigger denominator, which means there are more pieces. So 1/8 is greater than 1/10. 1 whole compared to 5/5. Tricky, tricky. 1 whole tells me that I have one whole object all together already. But 5/5 written in fraction form is 5 equal pieces over the 5 equal pieces needed to make 1 whole. So this fraction comparison is actually telling me that 1 whole equals 5/5. And C, 1/7 compared to 1/6. Thinking about our trick, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece, I know that 1/7 is less than 1/6. Let's move on to exit ticket 11. Fill in the blank with the fraction to make the statement true. Draw a matching model. 1/7 is less than, well, let's use the example we just did before. 1/6. Okay, here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal pieces, and 1 has been shaded. So my model will look like this other model except in size, except my pieces, 1, there will be 6 of them. Okay, 6 pieces, and we're going to shade in one of them. And even though my drawing's a little bigger, we can still see that the 6 pieces are larger than the 7 in size. So 1/7 is less than 1/6. 1/4 is greater than. Greater than. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. So I can think of any number that is bigger than 4. So let's say eighths, right? So 1/4 is greater than 1/8. And I would want to draw a comparison using a similar sized object. So my whole would be a square. 2, 4, 6, 8. And that is much smaller than my piece of 1/4. On to the next page because of my arrow, my big arrow that showed me. Number 2 says, Tatiana ate 1/2 of a small carrot. Louis ate 1/4 of a large carrot. Who ate more? Use words and pictures to explain your answer. So I changed my color to orange because it helps me visualize. So this is going to be Tatiana's carrot. And this will be Louis' carrot. And there we go. I've estimated to split it into equal parts. Why did I split Louis into 4 pieces? Well, because he ate 1/4. So 4 equal pieces make up the whole. And I split Tatiana's in half because she only ate one of 2 pieces of her small carrot. So there's her 1/2. There's Louis' 1/4. Now, if we use the reasoning we did before on the page before, we would know that, well, 1/4 is smaller or less than 1/2. However, looking at my picture, these words, small and large carrot, tell me that the whole is not equal. And what I mean by that is Tatiana's whole and Louis' whole are not the same size. Tatiana ate half of a small carrot. She only ate this amount for a tiny carrot, and Louis ate 1/4 of a big carrot. So what this tells us is that Louis, I'm just going to use the L, probably, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to draw this all out. Probably ate more. Probably ate more. And we'd love to see you explain why. Why did he eat more? Because he ate a larger carrot. But you could also explain that 1/2 would be greater than 1/4 if the carrots were the same size. the carrots would have to be the same size. It's super important that we continue to think about fractions and comparing them and what equal parts we're talking about, especially when we're talking about wholes that are the same size or are different sizes. Let's see what happens when we look at lesson ticket 12. Okay. Each shape represents the unit fraction. Draw a picture representing a possible whole. Okay, so super cool. We got this shape here, it's 1/7, so we will need 7 of these shapes. And I'm just gonna flip them upside down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get my little eraser, do that extra edge. Each of these will equal 1/7, 1/7, 1/7, because there are 7 of them, and each piece is one equal-sized piece, and 7 would make up the whole. Hopefully your drawings are much neater than mine. Here we have 1/9. So I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 equal pieces, and this is 1/9, 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 and that is 1/9. Each piece equals 1/9, representing a possible whole. Here we go to the next page following that big arrow. Right there. Eileen and Jack used the same triangle representing the unit fraction 1/4 to create one whole. Who did it correctly? Explain your answer. Well, looking at both, if this triangle and this triangle, and each of these triangles, represents 1/4, and they are the same size, then both Eileen and Jack are both correct, because each of their triangles is the same size, and they created one whole with those equally shaped pieces of the unit fraction 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 equal pieces to create the whole. And that is that.